Because I don't do cold. Okay, this is my lovely, lovely class. This is English 3, winter quarter, 2010. Sorry?
Hire Sarah.
Hire Sarah. Thank you, Mario. Okay, who can I get to hold this? Okay, well, we'll rotate the camera later. Iris likes to play director. Okay, so first I just kind of want to explain what we're doing today. I'm turning over the class to the students, and they are going to teach me Hamlet, which should be really fun. But before we go into our little time for you guys to prepare your stuff with the group, I just wanted to give you kind of an example of what I meant when I said you're going to pick a little passage to sort of focus in on. So what we can kind of do is kind of practice our close readings that we do, but maybe kind of out loud and together. Don't let the camera make you shy. So suppose you were doing this scene, Act 2, Scene 2, line 398, and just for future reference, this is how you're going to want to denote any passages that you use in your paper 4s, okay? The act, the scene, and then even the line numbers, because we're all, of course, working from different versions. So suppose you said, okay, this is what happens in this scene, and you go over the little nuts and bolts. I will try not to steal the thunder of the group that has this one, but I just wanted to pick 4 lines, and of course you could pick more or less. And I'm really not expecting that we're going to get through absolutely all of these scenes today, but we have next time as well. So let's just read these. Can I have like a volunteer, maybe someone with a theatrical background who would like to play Hamlet or Guildenstern? John, you want to be Hamlet, don't you?
No, but I'll be Hamlet.
Yeah, all right, great. Oh, that's a good one. Who wants to just be Guildenstern and put as much feeling into that little short line as you possibly can? You shy? All right, George, thank you. All right, so this is the tail end of a speech where he's been talking to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and he ends by saying, you know, you're welcome.
But my uncle, father, and aunt, mother are deceived.
In what, my dear lord?
I am but mad, north, northwest. When the wind is southerly. I know a hawk from a headsaw.
Okay, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my bad orthography, or bad handwriting. Okay, so let's talk about this. Suppose this is the passage that I was to give you on the final exam. I'm not going to give you this one. It's going to be much longer. But if this is what you came across on the final exam, what would you start to pick out of this as interesting things? Let's just start with that very first line. Is there anything that grabs you?
So we do kind of just like poetry?
Yeah, we're doing close reading. Yeah, first we just start by just noticing words. What do you notice? I mean, that's in that first one. There's not much meat to it.
Uncle, father?
Uncle, father, and aunt, mother. My uncle, father, and aunt, mother are deceived. Why is that important to the overall plot of the story? Why does he say, my uncle, father, and aunt, mother?
Because his mother married his uncle.
Right, his mother married his uncle, and so what ramification does that have for kinship structure, for his family? Yeah, Lorenz.
Well, wouldn't that mean now that his uncle is now his new father and now his mother, because she married the uncle, is considered an aunt, but still his biological mother?
Great. So yeah, so basically, yeah, exactly what Lorenz said. The family relationship is now kind of skewed. His uncle is at the same time a father or stepfather, which makes his uncle's wife his aunt. So his mother has now become his aunt. So he's feeling very disjointed and disconnected. And he said, my uncle, father, and my aunt, mother are deceived. What does that mean? They're deceived.
They don't know the truth.
They don't know the truth. And what do you think they don't know the truth about? Hamlet, okay. Erica, you had a hand up. Did you want to say something?
About, like, his state of mind.
About his state of mind.
He's tricking him about his state of mind right now.
Okay, good. And yeah, so obviously Guildenstern is puzzled by this claim, and he says, in what, my dear lord? Which George read very, very well. And then Hamlet says, I am but mad north, northwest. Oh, and I miswrote this. It should be when the wind is southerly. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw. So, what is this? Let's just take it bit by bit. I am but mad north, northwest. What do you pull out of that? Is it running out?
No. Should I keep going?
Yeah, keep going. Keep
Okay.
going. This is wonderful. Great material. What does that mean? I'm but mad north-northwest.
I'm mad sometimes, like
I'm mad
the wind
sometimes.
blows this way sometimes, so I'm mad at this point, like when something like I'm going this way maybe, or like dealing
Okay.
with these people.
Yeah, great. I'm only mad sometimes. So I'm only mad when I am but mad north-northwest, when the wind is southerly. So he's really talking about a direction of the wind blowing. Now, wind and madness, does that call to mind anything? This is kind of maybe a stretch. Anyone here from LA?
Santa Ana?
Santa Ana! So tell the camera about the Santa Ana winds, because I'm going to be applying to jobs all over the country.
Winds that come from the south that are really hot.
They're
and
really hot.
supposedly make people do like crazy violent things.
Yeah, so the crime goes up when the Santa Ana winds are blowing. People feel like they act insane, and scientists have done studies and found that there's more ionization. There is sort of an electrical current in the air when the winds blow. This is really a long-standing tradition of people feeling like winds could affect their moods. So he's saying, I am only mad when the wind is blowing from the north-northwest direction. When the wind is southerly, so by contrast, when the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw. What do you think that means? I know a hawk from a handsaw. Did anyone have a footnote on that in their book? Yeah, Nagin?
It says like he can differentiate between a friend and foe.
He can differentiate between a friend and foe. Okay. Anyone else have a different note? Because we're all working from different versions. Lorenz?
It says, I can distinguish between things that do not resemble each other.
Okay, between things that do not resemble each other. Yeah. So this is kind of a proverb. I know a hawk from a handsaw, meaning I know two different things. I mean, you're going to get, in as many different versions as we have in this room, we're going to have a different note denoting that. But this was my absolute favorite line from Hamlet when I read it in high school, and here's why. The text that I was working from said that this was a proverb, that a hawk was a kind of hammer, and a handsaw, obviously we still use that word, is a saw. So that on the surface level, this was a metaphor about tools. And so he was basically saying, when the wind is southerly, I've got my act together. I can open the tool chest and I know which one's the hammer and I know which one's the handsaw. I might be crazy when the weather is north-northwest, but when the wind is southerly, I know what I'm up against, right? However, what else does hawk mean?
Like an eagle.
Right, a bird of prey, right? And we just had this kind of metaphor about wind. So maybe our brains are kind of more likely to think about the association between the word hawk and a creature of nature, like bird, rather than hawk and hammer. Now the other thing you need to know is that there was a bird called a henshaw. So this metaphor isn't just really working on one level, but in fact at the same time he's sort of cross-referencing. I know a hammer from a saw, I know a hawk from a henshaw. And this is always at play in everything Hamlet says is this complex wordplay that is often the clue to the fact that, as Polonius says, there's method in his madness, that he's insane, but that there is also clearly such a clever mind behind that madness that we don't really know if he's actually crazy or if this is just all a really clever scheme. Okay, so with that in mind, when you guys go to your groups and try to pick out a passage, I want you to really be thinking about what is the most intricate or most interesting instance of wordplay that you found in your scene that you really want to take up the class with and draw our attention to. Okay? All right, so off we go into our groups for a minute. Thank you.